Welcome back, everyone. We can start with questions for Coach Saleh.
Recording in progress.
See with the fresh shave cause. Thing looks shiny as mine.
Robert, how much did you pay attention to football yesterday? And in particular, did you watch the Bills-Vikings game?
Yeah, my kids are all in the football too, so it seems like it was the only thing on TV. But no, we enjoyed all of it. It's fun to be just to sit back and just watch games, and did get a chance to watch that Vikings Bills game. It was unbelievable. Just as a fan of football, let alone outcome, but it was a cool day yesterday.
What's the feeling like now? Because that game the division is wild, right? You guys are all bunched up in the division, and you guys win this one, you're in first place this week. Just what's that feeling like right now?
We've got a good opportunity, obviously, over the next 8 games to do something. I don't think yesterday's games mattered much because we're still in a position where we still have to take care of our own business, and there's a lot of football to be played before we even think about scenarios. And we all still have to play one another. We also have to play a lot of really good football teams. And we still, obviously, this game coming up is the most important game. But it's just there's so much football to think about or to play before we even think about what's at stake.
Hey, Robert, how good is the AFC East? How good is this division? I mean, if the playoffs started this week, all 4 of the teams would make it.
Yeah, it is a very good division. Obviously, New England, they're not going anywhere anytime soon as long as Bill's the head coach, and I think McDaniel's doing a phenomenal job over there in Miami. They're loaded with talent, and then obviously Buffalo is loaded also, and so it's a very competitive division. Every team has an identity that just stands out on tape in terms of their style of play and how hard everybody plays, and it's cool to be a part of, and it is a challenge every week.
Robert, you just referenced Bill in New England and whatnot. What did your group take out of the last game that you played with them? And do you really feel, with no disrespect to New England, but do you feel like that was one that you gave away? The things that you talk about, not the self-inflicted wounds kind of stuff. Don't give them the advantage.
Yeah. New England's been that way forever, where you walk away and you're like, man, if we just don't do this. Well, they do it all the time, and they force you into mistakes. They force you into shooting yourself in the foot, and it's they've got a saying over there: "Do your job." And I'm sure if a player's there long enough, they probably hear it about 1,000 times in a week, to just do your job, do it to the best of your ability, and whatever happens, happens. And they do their job as good as anybody, and they're very disciplined. They're very sound. In all 3 phases, they got after us in the special teams. On special teams, the last time we played them, they ate us up in the field position battle, and so they win in different ways. And it may not be demonstrative on the stat sheet, it may not be demonstrative on tape, but at the end of the day, they're winning, and that's a testament to their coaching staff and the players and the way they play.
Even though you have a slight advantage on them, I mean, obviously ever so slight in the division. And Buffalo obviously has been considered kind of the cream of the crop. But do you still feel like everything's got to go through New England? If you guys want to get to where you want to be, you got to get through New England.
I think you can say that about all these teams in our division. They're all very talented, like you guys just mentioned. And every game, I feel like we're going to stand up here, and every game is going to hold a lot of weight, and it's going to be the biggest game of the year. And the biggest game of the year, well, this is the biggest game of the year because it's the current game of the year. And, I'm not sure if it's necessarily going through people as much as it is just handling our business, doing our job, and playing to the best of our ability, and trusting that if we do that, we'll like the result.
Robert, were you happy with how everybody came back? Nobody gained 10 pounds or anything like that? And
Look good.
What was your message to them when they came back?
Practice was good. It was well needed, just going through and communicating and doing football stuff. But knock on wood, we're as healthy as you could possibly be at this point, and felt like the guys attacked today like the way we needed to.
Do you have injury updates like Corey and some of those guys?
Yeah, Corey will continue to go day to day. He worked real hard. He didn't go anywhere. He stayed here the entire week. So he's been working hard on, so we'll see how this goes throughout the week. Plan on, opening up Max Mitchell's practice window. And then George will not practice this week. And then Rankins, he'll be out.
Are there any more questions for Coach?
Yeah, with regard to Zach, you know, when you look at his numbers, he only has a handful of touchdown passes. You guys have had a terrific formula with obviously with the defense playing so well in the running game. What is the confidence level if, you know, there's going to be a game, whether it's this Sunday or whatever, where somebody's going to shut your running game down, maybe your defense is not going to have its A game, where you may need to win a shootout, and have Zach sling it around. Can you address what the confidence is to be able to do that with him?
Yeah, I think we've got confidence in him. It's you know, he's shown, you know, we talk about touchdown passes. I mean, like I've said it before, he is a yard away from having 2 touchdown passes against Miami. He had an unbelievable fourth quarter. He played really well last week against a really good football team. We're kind of holding him hostage to 4 or 5 plays that he had against New England, in my opinion, and at least externally. Internally, I think everybody's got a lot of faith in Zach and to be able to run this offense and get the ball where it needs to get to and do it in an efficient manner. And I do think that if we do need to put it on his back and put it on our receivers' backs and put it on the O-line to protect, I think we're capable of doing that. But when you start slinging it around and you ask the quarterback to play 60 plays a game, they're going to make mistakes. And it's hard to play quarterback. I don't care how good you are. It's just hard to play quarterback in this league. And it's our job as coaches to make sure that he's not being asked to do that constantly. If he has to, we have faith that he'd be able to.
Robert, I'm curious. We've asked you a lot about Elijah, right, over the last month. During the bye week, when you did self-scouting and you looked at it, are there ways that you feel like you guys can get him more involved? And is that playing him in the slot? Is that the answer? What did you see when you guys looked at that?
Without giving up too much from a schematic standpoint, there's Elijah's a special football player, and we're going to continue to find ways to get him going. You know, it's not as easy as, all right, let's start throwing him the football and throw him into a certain spot. Our offense is very multiple. The advantage of our offense is that we can take receivers and move them anywhere we need to. But at the same time, Elijah is a good football player, and we're continuing to try to find ways to best utilize his skill set to get him the football.
Robert, can you put your finger on why you guys have been so good in the fourth quarters? And, you know, I mean, obviously that's every coach's dream to be able to have, you know, have the clutch gene, so to speak, or whatever. But is that also a matter of the more you have success in those scenarios that the confidence just kind of builds and snowballs a little bit?
No, for sure, Mark. That confidence is the more it's affirmations. You know, it's happened a couple of times. So guys feel confident and you feel like you're always going to be in it. I think it's a testament to our locker room and our players. I don't think I've said it before, they don't flinch. They don't ever feel like the sideline. I'd say since week 1 was probably like the sideline just doesn't quite, like last year, if we got down early, it was just a very dead sideline. And where as opposed to this year, there's just a lot of confidence. Like just if we just make a play, if somebody does something, it was 14-3 last game, and you just offense goes down and scores, and defense is so confident that we'll be able to get the ball back. And you know, so I think it's a testament to our guys and the confidence at which they're playing, and believing that if they just continue playing and they play their best and they do everything that just do our job to the best of our ability, that there's a belief in the locker room that we can get it done.
It almost seems like they embrace the challenge to some degree when you talk to some of the players, doesn't it? I mean,
yeah, no, and you want them to. You don't always want to live that way where you got to continue to battle back, but there is no scenario, I feel like, with our team where they feel like where our players in that locker room feel like there's the lead is insurmountable, or it's just an impossible task.
Robert, do you know where that comes from? Because again, you're a young team, and you know, like we talked about the last time, it's like they grow up pretty quick. Yeah,
so that's the advantage of our youth, is they're not connected to all the the history in terms of what this organization has gone through, so they don't know any better. You know, they don't know the scoring. They don't know what's supposed to happen, according to a lot of people you talk to that are Jets fans. Like, well, you weren't supposed to do that. Jets teams never do that. They don't know that. They just know if they go play and they're talented enough and we've got good football players. And if we just do our job and we don't make mistakes, we're pretty tough to beat. And that's what they know. And that's what we know. And I feel like that's the way we play every week.
Are there any more questions for Coach? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Robert.
guys.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes today's availability.
Recording